Welcome to Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube channel video. You're here with your channel host, GBHL James.
And GBHL Jamie. I'm still eating sweets.
Enjoying his lemon sherbets.
Last lemon sherbet. One last time.
I think he wants me to say it. We've already covered the heroes of Moria. We've covered the monster heroes of Moria. We must now be on to the Warriors of Moria as part of our Moria and Angmar Sourcebook Review week. So we're going to be looking at the Warriors of Moria. We'll discuss the profiles as always, have a little bit of a chat about some of the models, etc. And no better place to start than the basic Moria Goblin Warrior. And we often refer to things in multiples of Moria Goblin with shield, or spear, or bow, I suppose. Yeah. Because those are the options. So these are dirt cheap. These are up there with some of the cheapest troops in the game. Yeah. Is there anything cheaper than that?
Hobbits.
Hobbits.
Hobbit. Hobbit militia, 3 points.
Hobbit militia, 3 points. There you go. So they really are cheap, and you are paying for cheap. They're only fight value 2, 5 plus shoot value. They're strength 3, defense 4. They've got 1 attack, 1 wound, and they are courage 2. They are pretty poor stat line. Pretty poor stat line. They come with the armour, which is why they're defense 4, not 3, and they do have the options to say the bow, shield, or spear, which of course is going to give them a bit of a buff. And as with all of the goblins, they have Cave Dweller as the special rule. They are so cheap that you're going to see these guys hoarded up.
Oh yeah. And they're not terrible either. Like, you give them a shield, make them defense 5. They're as good as an orc in combat basically against most things that fight 4 nowadays. And being fight 2, they can feint without worry and get poisoned essentially. Yeah,
now where I tend to see these guys, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit more when we get on to
the elites,
these guys, the elite stuff, but we do tend to see these guys supporting stronger choices.
Yeah, they're pretty much always spearmen, and you get the odd few shields just to make a front line.
We see a lot of these guys out there, a lot of them on eBay.
Yes, yeah, they are very popular on eBay.
There's a lot of these out there, so if you did want to start a Moria force, then
you can pick them up dirt cheap.
Very cheap. They were obviously very popular when Fellowship and everything came out, because these were, I guess, the main...
I think in Battle Games of Middle-earth, you got a sprue of them as your free gift rather than just a hero.
Well, that's pretty cool.
They're they were in the Moria, the Mines of Moria box set.
Yep.
And the old boxes are 24. You know, people bought them, don't need them. So yeah.
They've got an interesting one. It goes into a lot of detail. There is actually a troop on its own, in its own right, rather than an option.
It's awful.
We've got the Moria Goblin Drum. It sounds so awful that Jamie should talk about it.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what it does.
So it's 100 points, and that gets you 2 Moria Goblin Drummers and 1 Moria Goblin Drum.
It's expensive.
It is. Goblins have the exact same stat lines as goblins without gear. The drum is defense 10 with 3 wounds. They can wear armour. Drums in the deep. At the beginning of the game, deploy the Moria Goblin Drum as per the scenario instructions, with the drummers touching it. For the drum to be struck, at least 1 drummer must start the turn in base contact with it and must not move or be engaged in combat. The drum may not be moved and played in the same turn, and if 1 or more drums meet these conditions, then the following effects apply. All fights within 18 inches of 1 or more drums that have been struck, including at least 1 Moria Goblin, the evil player can reroll any one of the dice he re-rolled determining who wins the fight.
It's a banner.
Yeah, a banner, yeah. As long as you got a goblin in the fight.
Yeah, so it's an 18-inch banner.
Yep. All Moria Goblins on the battlefield, including heroes, add +1 to their courage values, and all good models on the battlefield, or opposing models, suffer -1 to their courage value.
So basically, it's giving a Harbinger of Evil
to the battlefield, though.
And it's giving a horn,
yeah,
and a banner.
It's a horn, a banner, and Harbinger of Evil. Yeah.
Very interesting.
For the table, basically. For the purposes of counting the total numbers of the models, that only the drummers count, not the drum itself.
Okay.
The drum is a heavy object, so both drummers need to be in base contact for it to move. If not, it's moved half. And the drum can be shot normally. It has defense 10, 3 wounds. If it's reduced to 0 wounds, the model is destroyed. Leave the drum there, but it can't be played anymore. The drum has no control zone, and if a good model spends a full turn in base contact with the drum without doing anything else, such as shooting, using magic powers, or fighting in combat, the drum is automatically destroyed.
Okay, now it's expensive. You said it's awful.
It's awful because basically I'm going to jump straight past this onto the next choice, the Gundabad Black Shield Drum, which is 100 points. as well.
I trust him.
Yeah. This comes with 2 Gundabad Black Shields with 1 drum. So Gundabad Black Shields, we'll do their profile now. They are Fight 2, Strength 4, Defense 5, 1 attack, 1 wound, Courage 3.
So they're better.
So they're instantly better, these guys. They wear heavy armour. 1 Gundabad Black Shield also carries the drum. They've got ancient enemies, which we talked about in the Heroes of Moria. They've got cave dwellers, but they have run and drum. So the drums are brought to war by the Gundabad Black Shields upon the back. The drum is considered to be playing as long as the drummer and bearer are in base contact together. So it can be moved and played this time as well. It has the exact same bonuses as the Moria Goblin drum, but take up the drum. If either model in the drum team is killed, the controlling player can choose to pass on the model's war gear to any other Gundabad within 1 inch.
Okay. That's
So if your drummers are killed for the Moria Goblins, the drum's done. These guys just pass it on.
And it's the same points.
It's the exact same points, you get better bearers, and it can be moved and played.
So why would you take a Moria Goblin drum?
For theme.
For theme.
That is
I'm guessing it was for a scenario.
Yeah, you got drums in the deep as a scenario.
Yeah.
But it was also the only way goblins can get a banner reroll.
Right, okay. Now, considering, well, let's just talk about drummers generally.
Yeah.
Do we actually see any of these guys out there? I can't remember ever seeing a drum.
I've seen the Gundabad Black Shield drummers out there, yeah. The Gundabad Black Shield drum is really disgusting when you look at it. It's the skin of a dwarf stretched across a drum.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty grim.
Yeah, it's very vile.
That is pretty grim. So you have actually seen it out there being used.
Yep.
Do you think it's worth it for 100 points?
100 points is a lot of points for goblins. I personally don't think the investment's worth it.
No, because think about how many goblins you can get for 100 points.
Or a shade.
Or a shade, which we'll come on to when we talk about Angmar.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the drums. There's nothing particularly interesting about them.
No, interesting models.
Yeah.
Interesting models, but I think that's probably about as far. I've never personally come across them. No. I think it sounds okay in theory, but probably about half the points.
Maybe, yeah.
If it was half the points, then you might think about it. I think
yeah.
A bit more. So next up, we've got one of your favourites.
Bat Swarm. Very tactically based model. It's movement 12. It flies. It's fight 1 with a 5+ shoe value, strength 3, defense 3, 2 attacks, 4 wounds, courage 2. It has fly, and the big bonus of it is blinding swarm. Now the fight value of any enemy model in base contact with a bat swarm is halved, rounding down. So if your fight, let's say 7, it will round down to 3, which is pretty decent.
Which is very nasty. So these tend to be used in combinations with
heroic strikes, monsters, and rage bats.
Very good for sort of sniping out enemy heroes.
Or even just going across the lines and taking off space supports.
Yeah.
Because you've got 4 wounds, trapping models, yeah, they're not going to die too quick.
And not expensive really.
No, not for its purpose. It's the same as Golem and the Goblin Captain.
Yeah.
And I'd take one of these over a Goblin Captain personally.
Yeah. Yeah, and interesting model.
Yeah.
You, like you say, you've used some of the Druzad bats.
The Druzad bats, yeah. They're a little bit better. These are a bit vampire county from fantasy.
Yeah.
They're very big bats.
They are very big. I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetic of the bats.
The aesthetic's not great.
But they are a nightmare to play against, and if you've watched our other videos, which you should have done,
as Middle-earth Deadliest Warband, these are in it.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that.
I think we should talk about that.
They were very good.
Yeah.
They were very good. In fact, they were a game changer in a lot of the Moria games.
Yep.
They're a big game changer.
Taking the hits and then dealing with the heroes.
Yeah.
And next up, you're going to talk about this guy.
This guy. Probably the best cavalry model in the game.
Yeah. Probably
the best cavalry model in the game. Absolute nightmare to come up against. It is the Warg Marauder. The Warg Marauders. Okay. So the Goblin Cavalry, they are the same points as the Bat Swarm.
Yep.
Same points as the Bat Swarm. They move at 10 inches. Their fight value 3, 5+ shoot value. Their strength 4, defense 5. They've got 3 attacks, 3 wounds, and courage 3. Okay. They come with armour and an orc bow, and they cause terror. Okay, and they've got a special rule that says on the hunt, the War Marauder can always fire 2 orc bow shots, even if it's moved its full movement or is locked in a fight. So you tend to see these guys like they can fire into their own fight, can't they? Or fire at spear supports and stuff like that. Now the bit which is an absolute nightmare about these guys is this part. A War Marauder is represented by a single model with the combined profile here. The component parts cannot be attacked or wounded separately. Once a model is reduced to 0 wounds or is otherwise removed as a casualty, remove the entire model from play. The War Marauder is a cavalry model in all regards except those noted above, so you can't strike the mount.
No, and you can't knock it over. But you can knock it over, but it just gets back up as a cavalry model.
Which is awful.
It's horrendous.
Which is awful. So all of a sudden, this model has no problems with
Nature's Wrath, Sorcerer's Blast,
all of those things which are a nightmare for cavalry.
Dying, yeah.
You know, which is why it's the best cavalry.
Yeah.
One of the reasons. And of course, it's got 3 attack space, which means it's got 4 on the charge. It's got 8.
8 on the knockdown, a strength 4. Fainting, more than likely.
They are probably going to kill what they knock down.
Yeah.
Probably. We do see quite a few of these guys out there, don't we?
Yes, we do, yeah.
We do. You've got a few.
Converted up, yeah. I've got 2 converted up.
2 converted up.
Yeah. For Middle-earth to these forward.
Yeah. And you used some goblin archers, is that right?
So two goblin archers and 1 goblin spearman.
Yeah, because they've got that kind of wide leg bow
Yeah.
stance anyway, so quite an easy conversion to do.
Yeah, it's just literally cut the sprue off the bottom, the slaughter base.
And I think we've seen quite a few people out there doing that.
Yeah, I mean, when I made them, the Fell Wargs weren't out yet, and I wish I could have waited and done that, because the Fell Warg is so much more dynamic than the Wargs, that they actually look a bit more like that one.
And we've seen some very cool sort of War Marauder conversions or armies, you know. I think Mick was famed originally.
Mick was the initial one, yeah. I think he took about 5 of them. 10 bow shots. And then when they charge in, they're just death.
Yeah, pretty awful. And he's done a lot of conversions and stuff.
Yeah, it was him who sort of took that idea first off.
And then we've seen the likes of Murtaugh, James Baldwin.
Was he Goblin Town on the Wargs?
Exactly, to make them look like that. So they are very, very, very nasty. A real awful troop to come up against. You know, with 3
really
wounds.
Tough to deal with.
Tough to kill. They become target priority in a lot of ways, but you know.
Then you've got the Goblin army walking towards you. It's a nasty deal.
It certainly is. And then we've got one which again is one that I've seen you use a lot of.
It's fallen from grace a little bit, this next model. It's the Moria Goblin Prowler. So he is 7 points. He's cheap.
Well, quite expensive for a goblin.
Expensive for a goblin. He used to be 6 points. And that point increase has really hampered his ability. So he is fight 3, and that is the highest you'll find for a troop in the Goblin army.
Oh.
He's 4+ shoot value, strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 1 wound, courage 2. He comes with armour and throwing weapons. The throwing weapons, the move and shoot, and the increased point really sort of made him not viable anymore.
Yeah.
He can have an orc bow, a 2-handed weapon, or a shield for a point. So typically you see these guys with shields.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing with 2-handed weapons because they're axes, they can pierce and strike.
Yeah.
They're a cave dweller and they have backstabbers. When striking models that are trapped, Moria Goblin Prowlers receive +1 on their to wound rolls. Note that this bonus is cumulative with a +1 bonus for using a 2-handed weapon.
Wow, so that means they can wound some things.
On ones.
On ones?
Yes.
Like automatically wound things.
Auto wound. Only model in the game that can do it.
Wow.
2-handed piercing strike against a trap model that's defense 4 or lower.
That is.
They can auto wound.
That's pretty nasty. Although I'm guessing that doesn't come up much.
Not much. I threw it into a bat swarm.
You did.
Paralysed it. Chop! 2 of them went in and it was like, it's dead.
Yeah.
Didn't roll dice. Dead. Oh, it's a good strength 5.
Yeah. Yeah. So we do actually see quite a few of these around, even if they have lessened.
They used to be the front line of all goblin armies.
Yeah.
And it would be goblin warriors converted to look like them. I now use them with their 2-handed weapon as a bit of a kill team with a Barrow White. Yeah. Because Barrow White with the paralysed means you are auto trapped, auto lose the fight. They can 2-handed piercing strike and do a lot of wounds. So yeah, they're decent.
Yeah, and they've got an interesting sort of aesthetic as well, haven't they?
Yeah, they're sort of the.
You say you converted some like to have hoods. That was one of the.
Yeah, it was my very first dabble in green stuff, and I think I got rid of the models, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just
that's disappointing with yourself.
Yeah. A lot of my early stuff I've got rid of.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, what's the point in keeping it? Next up, we've got the mainstay of the Goblin army, the Gundabad Black Shield.
Wow. A little bit more expensive than the Prowler.
Yep, well it's the same as a Prowler with the point, with the gear. Which is why these guys really took the shine.
Yeah.
So these guys are Fight 2 for the 5+ shoot value, Strength 4, Defense 6, 1 attack, 1 wound and Courage 3.
Wow.
So they're not a terrible profile.
So all of a sudden, Strength 4, Defense 6.
Yep.
For troops, that's a very
That's
good
a very
sort.
nice, yeah.
That's kind of what you kind of want, isn't
Yeah.
it? If you can get it.
And Courage 3, which is better than all the other troops we've had so far,
Yeah.
besides the other Gundavads. They've got heavy armour and a shield, and can take a spear for a point. They've got Cave Dweller and Ancient Enemies, free rolling ones against dwarves and elves. But these guys are the front line now, because you have Defense 6 and the 5+ Fury, and they just don't die quick enough.
They're going to be a bit of a nightmare for good armies, aren't they?
They are.
Because of the Defense 6, all of a sudden you've got you need 6s.
You need 6s for most things to wound them, and they probably need 5s on you.
Yeah. And they're probably going to be supported with cheap spear support as well.
Yep.
So all of a sudden you can start to see a build here in mind, you know, or at least with your lines, your infantry lines. And that's what you do, isn't it?
That's what I do, yeah. I've got 24 of them. I've got a warband's worth, but not made up.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that really sort of takes us to the end of the actual goblins itself.
Yeah.
And then we actually come on to some interesting stuff.
Mhm.
A very interesting troop.
Yeah, this one's odd. I'm not a huge fan. It's the Dweller in the Dark. It's a spirit and monster.
Same points as Oakenbrand?
Yep, can be banished. Spirit.
It's a new thing now.
Yeah. Fight 7, so high fight. Movement 8, 3+ shoot value, Strength 5, Defense 5, 3 attacks, 3 runes, and Courage 7. Resistant to magic and causes terror. And as a special rule, Murderous Power. Whenever a Dweller in the Dark slays an enemy model, it regains a single wound suffered previously in the battle. This cannot take it above its starting token.
Wow.
So it's got the ability to regenerate wounds caused in itself.
Which is very handy.
Mm-hmm.
And with him being Fight 7, I'm guessing he was a bit of a hero bane. Strength 5,
Yeah. Defense
Fight 7.
He only came out very shortly before The Hobbit. Well, when these books came out, so it's about a year or so, and we never really saw him take off.
Right, okay. Charles takes Dwellers.
Takes 2 of them,
That's quite well. That's quite well.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
That's quite well done. So what is it that you don't like about them?
Just if you can see it on the Games Whisperer website, the aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's a bit more. It's a bit too Demons of Chaosy for me.
Yeah, I know.
It looks like a good replacement for some of their stuff.
Looks like is it a Daemon Prince?
Yeah, Demon Prince. Yeah.
Yeah.
Daemon.
Yeah. A Daemon Prince.
Damien Prince.
A Damien Prince. Boo. So yeah, it's a bit of a nasty one. We see a few out there. They are there to sort of kill stuff, really. Aren't
Yeah.
they? Go and kill stuff.
He's a monster, so obviously brutal power attacks. He can rend stuff. Not that it's great value to rend anything at strength 5, but hurl's the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty, pretty nasty. And then we come on to something less nasty, I think we should say.
Yeah, it's a bit of a puppy. The Wild Warg.
Wild Warg.
Fight 3, Strength 4, Defense 4, 1 attack, 1 wound, Courage 2, 10 points, and the same as a Gundavad Black Shield.
Yeah. And in no way are you going to take that instead of
A Gundavad Black Shield.
Gundavad Black Shield.
You take a Fell Warg over this for a point.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets taken with Druzag just to boost him up and make him a one-shot bomb.
Yeah, you tend to, if you see these in a Moria army,
Ooh, sorry.
you're going to see them because it's being partnered with those heroes there. Druzag being able to obviously enrage these bad boys.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a nasty one. And our very own Mr. Harrison took a Wild Warg.
Yeah, he did fantastic with it as well.
Yeah, he came last.
He came dead last.
He came last place. But he did get best boy.
Did you?
He did get most boy. So so it gives you a bit of an idea of how well these armies do. And Billy did one in the past as well, didn't he? Billy Fitzmaurice.
It wasn't all Warg.
Wasn't it not?
No, I had a Shadow Lord or something.
Oh right, okay. Maybe
I
not.
think anyway. Oh, charge the battery pack.
Well, I'll have to get on to that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was charging on last night. Okay, so we've got a couple more. I'm going to let Jamie start with these.
Yeah, you got Giant Spider. He's 20 points. He's Fight 4, which is good. Movement 10, Strength 5, Defense 3, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, and Courage 3. He has the special rule movement. Giant spiders can climb on any surface regardless of angle, and can therefore move at full speed over any type of difficult terrain, ignore all obstacles except for water and gaps, just like the Spider Queen. And they have venom, so giant spiders reroll 1s to wound when they fail to wound, basically. and they are a pretty good profile. They're on a whoops. They're on a cavalry-sized base, so they're not too big. They're not like the Mirkwood spiders, who suffer awfully for being on a monster base, despite being monsters. And when they're enraged, these guys can get to a nasty profile, being fight 7, strength 8, with 5 attacks.
The spiders.
Yes, yeah.
They're nasty.
Nasty little spiders. And then we comes on to a cave troll.
It's a cave troll!
They have a cave troll.
Sorry. You gave me the prompt.
I set you up.
I was seeing if we were charging.
So, cave troll, 80 points.
Okay.
Yeah, so a little bit high, so in the hero range.
Yeah.
Fight 6, movement 6, 5 plus shoot value, strength 6, defense 6, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 3.
Courage 3.
Courage 3, the letdown there. They can take a spear for a point or a troll chain for 5.
A troll chain? What
does a
troll chain do?
It's a throwing weapon with a range of 3 inches and a strength of 4.
See, I've never seen anybody take a troll chain before.
You're very rarely see, because when you charge it, it's a 6 plus to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
They've got terror and throw stones. So if a troll does not move at all, he can declare that he's stooping for a stone and then can throw it in the shoot phase. It's 12-inch range and strength 8.
I really like the aesthetic of the cave trolls.
The cave trolls are cool, yeah, they look just like the ones in the film.
Exactly.
It's spot on.
It is a very, very sort of cool look, and we've seen some gorgeous paint jobs on these bad boys.
Yeah.
Some really gorgeous paint.
Some really some gorgeous bad paint
I'm
jobs
tired!
on this cave boy.
Do we see many of them out there?
Yes, we do.
We do see them, don't we?
Yeah.
We do see them. And do you think that's because they are effective, or do you think it's because...
They're effective with the monsters. People like it because, you know, they have a cave troll, and they came as a plastic model in the Mines of Moria set.
We've seen a few of these sort of all troll.
Yeah, Kieran runs it, doesn't he? Birder and all the cave trolls.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool to play. I've not played against it, but I hear good things.
And I guess it's been made that much better with the Monster Brutal Power attacks.
Very much so.
Wow, so that takes us to the end of the Moria part of the sourcebook.
It does.
Which means that we've only got Angmar heroes and Angmar troops remaining.
Indeed.
So we hope you enjoyed us having a little bit of a discussion there and talking you through some of the profiles of the Moria warriors. And as we say, next up we will be going on to Angmar. So if you enjoyed that video, don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe.
Support your hobby, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
And as always, Strategy Battle Gamers, happy strategy battle gaming.